In a world where swordsmen roamed, there was one named Mike, a masterful swordsman but living in poverty and destitution. This time, he set out to find a job as a courier in Luoyang. On his way, he passed by a dilapidated ancient tower, and when he attempted to spend the night inside, he was met with an immediate display of a large blade blocking his path. Without engaging in any conflict, Mike leaped into the nearby grass. With a swift swing of his sword, the tangled grass was instantly cut down. A person emerged from the tower to assess the situation. This person turned out to be Jordan, the leader of a bandit group that had been lying in wait inside the tower. He instructed his subordinates to offer Mike some silver and requested that he leave. Mike, without a second thought, flung the silver into the air, causing it to lodge itself into a tree. Jordan was greatly astonished by this display. He praised Mike's extraordinary martial prowess and couldn't fathom how someone so skilled could be in such poverty. Mike explained that he was indeed impoverished and couldn't afford to stay in hotels. However, Jordan remained skeptical, as he believed that someone with such incredible skills couldn't possibly be in such dire straits. Mike chose not to waste more words and turned around to lead his horse away. However, he had not gone far when he was once again intercepted, this time by a man in white attire and a female swordswoman named Emma. The man in white accused Mike of being a bandit, but Mike defended himself, insisting that he was not a bandit. Despite his explanation, the man in white remained unconvinced. Not wanting to engage in further discussion, Mike decided to leave and began leading his horse away. However, the man in white suddenly threw a flying knife at him. Without hesitation, Mike reached out and caught the flying knife skillfully. Undeterred, the man in white persisted in confronting Mike, but Mike paid no further attention to him. He mounted his horse and rode away without looking back. It's already late at night. Mike came across a village. He asked the servants in the village for accommodation for one night. At this moment, a man in white and Emma were already in the village. The village's owner used to be a martial arts master, known for his skills with a large blade, roaming the rivers and lakes. No one could match his prowess. As a result, every year, the local officials would hand over the collected silver to the village's owner to deliver to the provincial capital. However, this year, the village's owner suffered an unexpected injury, causing him to lose all his martial abilities. Fearful of leaking the news, the village's owner secretly sought help from the man in white and Emma. Thus, the man in white and Emma came to assist the village's owner. While they were having dinner inside the mansion, they heard news about Mike from outside. The man in white called Mike in. When Mike saw the man in white, though surprised, he didn't hesitate and sat down next to him, hungrily devouring the meat on the table. Mike had been hungry for 3 days. Emma had witnessed Mike's martial arts skills before, so she raised her cup and toasted him. The man in white felt a bit sour. Then, the man in white used a flying knife to pierce a longan and suddenly shot it towards Mike. Quick as lightning, Mike used his chopsticks to catch the longan and, in one swift motion, flung the flying knife back. The knife cut through the candle, nailing it to the wall. Yet the candle flame remained unextinguished. The man in white was relentless. He threw the chopsticks upward, and with a flash of sword light, the chopsticks were split into 2 pieces. Mike requested the man in white to throw the chopsticks again. When the man in white threw the chopsticks once more, Mike's sword moved slightly, and the chopsticks were now divided into 4 pieces. The man in white was not willing to give up, but Mike didn't want to get entangled any further and stood up, intending to leave. However, the man in white was convinced that Mike was a detective sent by the bandits. He was determined to keep Mike in the village. As the two prepared to fight, suddenly, detectives sent by Jordan attacked. Seizing the opportunity, Mike used his light skills to escape and swiftly left the scene. Emma chased after the detective sent by Jordan. Along the way, she encountered David, Jordan's top henchman. Emma and David fought for several rounds, but David managed to knock Emma to the ground. He leered at her as she lay there defenseless. At this critical moment, Mike happened to pass by. He drew his sword and swiftly knocked David to the ground. David dared not continue the fight and quickly turned to run away. Emma thanked Mike, and he returned her sword to her. The man in white was infuriated when he saw this scene. Emma explained to him that she asked Mike to come back to the village to help escort the silver. However, the man in white refused to accept Mike's presence and declined the invitation. Mike bid farewell and left. Mike arrived in Luoyang and visited several escort agencies in a row. However, they were all unwilling to offer him any work. Mike found himself penniless and had no choice but to reluctantly sell his horse. He bought the spirited horse for 50 grams of silver and sold it for only 5 grams. With the meager amount, he quickly found a restaurant to fill his stomach. Upon leaving the restaurant, the horse's previous owner came chasing after Mike, holding on to the reins. He told Mike that the horse had developed an attachment to its previous owner and was willing to give it to Mike for free. Mike knew that the owner wouldn't be so kind-hearted and grabbed him by the collar, demanding an explanation. Mike searched for clues in the restaurant and spotted Emma on the second floor. It turned out that Emma had also come to Luoyang. She had witnessed the entire process of Mike selling the horse, so she bought the horse back and gave it to Mike as a gift. Mike didn't refuse Emma's kind gesture and rode the horse away. The bandit leader, Jordan, caught up with Mike. He proposed that Mike become his deputy leader and join him in robbing the silver. However, Mike declined the offer. Jordan accused Mike of planning to steal the silver from the village owner alone. Mike was ready to draw his sword, but Jordan snorted and walked away. The man in white and Emma overheard their conversation. Emma suggested that Mike join them in protecting the silver. This time, Mike did not refuse the proposal. Wooden Tower was the only route the village owners group had to pass through. Jordan had already set up a deadly trap. When the caravan passed through Wooden Tower, they were surrounded by Jordan's men. The man in white took charge, commanding his team to charge forward, while he and Emma stayed back to block the bandits. Emma asked Mike to go and protect the village owner. Mike fought his way through, shielding the village owner behind him. Jordan's men attacked them while he went to steal the silver. The man in white and Emma hurriedly followed. Emma protected the village owner while asking Mike to go after the bandits. The man in white chased after Jordan. Inside the tower, Mike was engaged in battle when he saw Emma being injured by David. He swiftly swung his sword and killed David. The detective and Mike engaged in a contest of light skills. Mike leaped over tree trunks and suddenly turned around, striking the detective down with one swift sword movement. Outside Wooden Tower, the bandits had been completely wiped out. Emma pleaded with Mike to go inside the tower and save the man in white. At this moment, Mike finally learned that Emma was the man in white's fiancée. He had a premonition that he might not survive if he entered the tower. Despite this, he made the decision to go inside. Before entering, he turned back and looked at Emma. The man in white was wounded by the ambushing bandits inside the tower and was in a dangerous situation. Mike arrived just in time and rescued the man in white. Jordan escaped to the upper floor. Mike called for the man in white to come downstairs, but he ignored the call and hobbled towards the upper floor. Jordan shot a hidden weapon from the side, injuring the man in white on the ground, and then pursued him. Mike rushed forward and stood in front of the man in white. Jordan's weapon pierced into Mike, and he endured the pain as he pulled it out. The bleeding wound told Mike that he had to end the fight swiftly. After a tough battle, Mike finally managed to kill Jordan. The man in white was grateful for Mike's life-saving act and wanted to support him, but Mike shrugged him off. Mike had his own strong personality. He swayed and descended the stairs on his own. As he was going down, the bandits shot arrows from the shadows, hitting Mike's body. He rolled down the stairs, gritting his teeth, and managed to kill the pursuers. He tried to pull out the arrows from his body but tumbled down the stairs again. The man in white approached with a white cloth in his hand and told Mike to let him dress his wounds, so Emma wouldn't see him injured. Mike used the white cloth to wrap his wounds and approached Emma. The village owner heard of Mike's heroic deeds and offered to give up his position for Mike, but Mike refused. He explained that he helped them not for rewards but out of respect for a woman he cared about. Mike turned and left. However, his injuries were too severe, and when he tried to mount the horse, he fell off again. Eventually, Mike collapsed on the ground and passed away. Emma, who had caught up with him, cried over his body. At this moment, she finally realized that Mike had feelings for her, and she had fallen in love with him too.